Anticipatory grief is like riding that roller coaster. You think you're entering a flat run and suddenly your wait list is upside down. It's that kind of not knowing when and how that is its own particular kind of torture. If your company is in the middle of a merger, you already know this feeling. The rumors, the closed door meetings, the colleague who got pulled aside last Friday, and you're still showing up, doing your job, keeping it together. And underneath all of it, one question is running on a constant loop. Am I going to be okay? Today, we're talking about what's really driving that anxiety, why it's so hard to shake, and what to do about it before it takes something from you that you cannot afford to lose. Hi, I'm Laverne McKinnon, and welcome to the Moonshot Mentor community. I'm a career strategist and a grief coach, and I love to help ambitious professionals grow their careers and navigate the harder parts of the journey, like professional heartbreaks and setbacks that don't always get talked about. Here's the thing, career grief is real. And when we don't give ourselves permission to mourn, it drains our resilience. And resilience is what keeps you moving forward through life's ups and downs. And that's why my work weaves together the spiritual, the strategic, and the tactical so you can build a career that's fulfilling and uniquely yours. Now, if any of today's episode resonates with you, please do give it a like and a comment because it really helps me grow this work. All right, let's jump into it with a story from an anonymous client. Rebecca is a senior executive at Warner Brothers, and she just wants to know the truth of what's going on with the Paramount merger and when she's going to be axed. The uncertainty is killing her. Her words, not mine. Now, she's not alone, not even close. 2026 is packed with mergers and consolidations across all industries. Devon Energy with Coterra, SpaceX and XAI, NG and UK power networks, tens of thousands of people going to work every day inside organizations that are in mid transformation. And everyone's wondering the same thing that Rebecca's wondering. Am I going to be okay? And here's the thing, she's not being dramatic. That waiting, that not knowing, it is one of the most exhausting places a career can put you. What Rebecca is experiencing has a name: anticipatory grief. It's the grief we feel before a loss that hasn't fully landed yet. When the change is coming, but it hasn't arrived. When the future feels like it's being written without you chiming in or having a vote. The reason this matters, the reason I'm talking to you about it today, is because of what it costs you when this anticipatory grief goes unrecognized. Most conversations about job uncertainty, they focus on the practical stuff like, okay, get ahead of it by updating your resume, start rebuilding your network now, join some associations so that you can become more visible. These are all good, all super useful strategies, but they're missing a critical component. There's something that's going to trip you up unless you recognize and take care of it now. When anticipatory grief goes unnamed, it tends to seed apathy, a low grade helplessness, the why bother feeling that creeps into the edges of your day and makes it really hard to invest in anything, your work, your relationships, your future, because there's a part of you that's already checked out. This is you protecting yourself from a disappointment that hasn't happened yet. Now, I see this in high performers, especially. They keep showing up, but their spark gets dim. Their tolerance for staff meetings goes to zero. The projects that they nurtured, they now feel like they are being abandoned. Here's what's going on. They haven't named what they're actually afraid of losing. Anticipatory grief is like riding that roller coaster at Six Flags Great Adventure in New Jersey. It actually doesn't exist anymore. It was called the Kingda, and it was supposedly the scariest roller coaster in the world. And you would wait for the big drop, and then it turns out to be a gentle twist. You think you're entering a flat run, and suddenly your wait list is upside down. It's that kind of not knowing when and how that is its own particular kind of torture. And then hope climbs into the car beside you. Maybe you'll dodge the restructure. Maybe your team won't be gutted. Maybe it won't be as bad as you fear. That hope is so, so human. And it makes those lurches harder, not easier, because every time you exhale, the next one catches you off guard again. The stomach drop, the pounding head, the heart beating like a hummingbird. With typical grief, we're reacting to what happened. With anticipatory grief, we're responding to something that hasn't happened yet, and it might not. And that makes it really, really hard to sit with. So here's where we go with this. We want to ask a question of ourselves with gentleness, with real compassion. What am I actually afraid of losing? When I finally sat with Rebecca and asked her that question, here's what came up. And it surprised her because it wasn't really about anticipating the loss of income or her job title. What Rebecca was actually afraid of losing was the dream of retiring by 60 and sending her two kids to the colleges of their choice. Her job was the how to a future that she'd been building for years. So here's what happened when she finally named that core fear out loud of what she was afraid of losing. She felt relief. The merger news didn't change. Her job was still uncertain, but dissecting that fear allowed her to question it. Is this truly something I need to be worried about right now? And if it is, what can I do? Once Rebecca saw that she was truly trying to protect a dream, she got clear so immediately. She and her husband made an aggressive savings plan that would account for a greatly reduced salary if she got laid off and still keep them on track for early retirement. This next thing, it made me laugh. She also had a conversation with her kids to find out if they were aligned on the college dream front. Turns out they didn't want to go to an Ivy League school. So her need to to save like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars from that, she was off base. Also, she was like, they don't have the grades to get into an Ivy League school. So that really transformed what what was going to be required for her to make the dream come true, for them to go to the colleges of their choice, not her choice. Rebecca couldn't control the merger, but she could tend to her dream. So here's what I know to be true. Naming your fear does not make it worse. It makes it workable. A spiraling thought that lives in your body at 3 a.m. is a lot harder to respond to than something that you've put words to, and especially words on a page. All right, that's it for today. A very big thank you to Amanda Kenny, our social media and digital strategist, and to Lauren Deacon for leading the Moonshot Mentor operations. And thank you for being here. I really, really appreciate your time, for your investment. And if you have questions, thoughts that you'd love for me to respond to, please drop a note in the comment or DM me. I'm here for you. So until next week, keep going after your moonshot.